In the spring of 1901, a group of Greek sponge divers was working the treacherous waters near the island of Antikythera. They pulled something from the silt of an ancient shipwreck, something that, at the time, made absolutely no sense. It wasn't a hoard of gold. It wasn't a masterfully carved marble statue. To the divers, it looked like nothing more than a lump of corroded bronze, broken, green with age, and entirely unremarkable. In fact, for a long time, it was largely ignored. But hidden inside that calcified crust were gears. Not crude, simple wheels, but precision gears. The kind of sophisticated mechanical parts that humanity, supposedly, wouldn't invent for another 1,000 years. We know now that this object came from a Roman merchant ship that went down around 100 BCE. But here's the problem. According to every history book we had at the time, ancient technology was limited. It was the era of levers, pulleys, and the sheer power of muscle. Complex, interlocking gear systems were thought to be the domain of medieval clockmakers, not the ancient Greeks. So when researchers first caught a glimpse of those toothed wheels hidden inside the fragment, the reaction wasn't excitement, it was denial. The assumption was simple: it had to be a mistake, a modern object that somehow fell onto an ancient wreck, because if it wasn't, then our entire understanding of human history was wrong. Decades after the initial discovery, the bronze fragments sat quietly in a museum, largely ignored. They were fragile, corroded, and, frankly, unremarkable at first glance. It wasn't until the 1950s that researchers began to look closer, using X-rays for the very first time. And that's when the impossible became clear. Inside the lump of bronze, they found interlocking gears, carefully arranged, mathematically precise, clearly designed to perform calculations. Over the years, technology like CT scanning revealed even more. Over 30 gears, some with teeth counted to match celestial cycles. Each gear had a purpose. Each gear was deliberate. This wasn't a decorative trinket. It wasn't a toy. It was a device built to compute, to model, to predict. A machine, fully intentional, built thousands of years before anyone thought such precision was possible. So, what exactly did this machine do? At first, it seems like magic, but the more researchers studied it, the more they realized it was surprisingly practical. By turning a single crank, the mechanism could predict solar and lunar eclipses. It tracked the phases of the moon, the position of planets visible to the naked eye, and even the timing of ancient athletic games. Imagine that. Someone in the 1st century BCE could know, in advance, when the heavens themselves would shift, using only bronze gears and human ingenuity. It's not a clock, at least not in the way we think of clocks. It's an analog computer, an entire celestial model in your hands. Every rotation of the crank connected to the motion of the stars, and the timing of events centuries into the future. But here's the part that truly boggles the mind. Because after this moment of brilliance, after this leap of engineering genius, it disappears. There's no evidence of workshops mass-producing similar machines. No manuals survive. No trail of knowledge extends into the following centuries. For over 1,000 years, humanity seemed to have forgotten entirely how to build something like this. The technology vanished, leaving only fragments and mystery. And that's why historians call it an anomaly. Nothing like the Antikythera Mechanism appears in history again until medieval Europe, in the form of astronomical clocks. It's not that someone lost a single object. It's that an entire tradition, an entire branch of engineering knowledge, vanished. No one knows exactly why. Perhaps it was lost with the fall of empires. Perhaps the workshops closed, the masters passed away, and the skills simply weren't passed on. All we know is that this machine shouldn't exist, at least not when it does. And that gap, that silence in the record, is part of its mystery. Historians and engineers alike have spent decades trying to understand how it was built. Some say it reflects a lost tradition of Hellenistic engineering, knowledge that simply vanished with the fall of empires. Others point to the sheer ingenuity of the Greeks, mathematics, astronomy, and craftsmanship converging in a single object. Every gear, every engraved symbol, every carefully measured ratio tells a story of intention, planning, and precision. It's not magic, it's not fiction, it's human skill on a scale that we thought wasn't possible for centuries. And yet, for all its sophistication, there's no record of anyone else building anything like it. Not before, not after. For 1,000 years, the knowledge seems to have disappeared entirely, which raises an uncomfortable question. How much of our technological history has been lost to time? If one object can be so advanced and yet vanish, what does that tell us about human progress? History is rarely a straight line. Civilizations rise, civilizations fall, and with them, knowledge can be lost, forgotten, or overlooked. The Antikythera Mechanism reminds us that brilliance doesn't always survive the centuries, and that sometimes the greatest discoveries come not from what's preserved, but from what almost wasn't. It also forces us to reconsider what we think we know about the past. The Greeks, the Romans, the Hellenistic world, they may have achieved more than our textbooks suggest. And perhaps there are other innovations, other machines, that slipped quietly through history, waiting for us to rediscover them. And so, the Antikythera Mechanism spins in silence. Thousands of years later, a whisper of a forgotten chapter in human ingenuity. It still shouldn't exist, and yet, here it is. What other marvels lie buried, waiting to challenge everything we think we know about our past? Perhaps, if we look carefully, we might just find the answers, hidden in plain sight. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more historical documentaries. This has been Lost Chapters. History, mystery, possibility.